You are so right. Communication is really at the core of growth. If we want to grow, it's likely that our growth is going to come with other people. There is no such thing as individual growth. We're all connected, and that's how we grow. So communication is what connects us. So in order to create that captivating message that really reaches people and gives them clarity on what you want them to do once they walk away, there are two components at the core of creating that captivating message. Now, here's the ultimate goal, and I always put it this way. If you want your audience to have a clue when you finish talking, guess who has to have the clue first? The communicator has to have the clue. And these two components will help you get a clue first. This is what anchors the process. So I'm going to talk about the purpose and the outcome of your captivating message. Now, the purpose is about you, the communicator, while the outcome is about your audience, whether that's one individual or a group of individuals. So let's begin with you, the communicator. When you communicate, there are a number of purposes that you can use for your presentation. We're going to talk about four. I'm going to talk about four of them today. I want to talk about the informational purpose. I want to talk about the persuasive purpose, the educational purpose, and the motivational purpose. So first of all, the informational purpose. This is probably the most basic type of purpose that you can have. Let's say that you are managing a project. And this could be a personal project or a professional project. We all manage projects throughout our lives. So let's focus on the personal project. Let's say that you and your spouse undertake this project to remodel your kitchen. So in remodeling your kitchen, let's say your spouse was called away. There was a family member who was in need, and your spouse had to take a trip out of state. But she called back to get an update on the status of the project. Your job at that point is to inform her as to where you are in this project, how far you've gotten, what challenges that have you run into, and what you did to overcome it, and most importantly, will you finish on time? So that's an informational purpose. Let's go to a persuasive purpose. And it's a very appropriate time to talk about this because the economy has thrown us into a situation that many of us were not prepared for. Many of us are having to interview after not having to interview in years, having had to interview in years. And you know what? I found some people have never had to interview. So when you go in that interview, your job, your charge, and your challenge is to persuade that hiring manager that you are the right person for that job, that you can bring value to the organization, that you can make a difference. Your job is to persuade in that interview situation. So let's go on to motivate. We've talked about informational purpose. We've talked about the persuasive purpose. Now, motivation. Let's say that you're a pastor and you are leading a flock. And let's say your passion in ministry is outreach ministry. You want to make sure that you go out to the community and win people to Christ. So on Saturday morning, every second Saturday morning, let's say you've got outreach ministry. Well, guess what? Your challenge at that very moment is to get as many people out on that Saturday morning as possible. But guess what you're working against? See, the fact is that 5 days, Monday through Friday, they've gotten up early. So your challenge is to get them up early again on Saturday morning. How likely is that? Also, I'm sure if you're a male, then you've probably got a honey-do list sitting somewhere around, right? So your challenge as a pastor is to be able to motivate them to do something that they would not have otherwise wanted to do. And that is a great challenge. You've got to motivate. The final purpose is to educate. Many of us have children, and we like to set our children up for success. Well, let's say that you're teaching your child how to manage a budget. That is, how to put together a budget and then manage it effectively so that they're managing their finances effectively, a skill that many of us can still use today. Well, in that process of laying out the process and talking about all the nuances and all the details associated with creating a budget and managing the budget, you are educating that child to manage that budget. So that takes care of the purpose. The purpose is all about you, the communicator. This really anchors the process and prepares us to focus on your audience, which is the outcome.